So I welcome you here. So today we have chosen this topic of soil health improvement through novel, agronomic and innovative approach. So basically, every of do you understand the language? Shall I speak in? Are you comfortable with this? Okay. So basically, before understanding what is soil health, we should first understand the proper definition of soil. So as far as the soil is defined as by the Soil Science Society of America, that is an unconsolidated material. I will not go deep into the terminology. You might have been accompanied with this terminology. So it is an unconsolidated mineral or organic material on the immediate surface of it, that is on the surface of it. It serves as a natural medium for plant growth. So it's a medium for plant growth. It provides both nutrients, it provides water, it provides the encouragement of plant. So this is the crux of what soil defines. Unconsolidated material, providing nutrients, providing water, providing encourage. Okay. So nutrients, all of us know what are the different types of nutrients. We have 16 essential nutrient elements which are essential for the plant, all of the plants. So in those 16 essential elements, we have macro and micronutrients. Then basically, what is the health? Health, soil health. Why we have horticultural soil? First of all, we must know that soil it is not a static. It is dynamic. Dynamic because the processes, the microbiological processes are going on in the soil. And we say that it is not a static, but it's a dynamic. The processes are going on. There are physical processes, there are chemical processes, there are biological processes which are going in the soil and making it a live entity. So that is why the soil health has been accompanied with this soil. So soil health is the capacity. So the Soil Science Society of America की definition है, that is it's the capacity of a specific kind of a soil to function within natural or managed ecosystem boundaries. How it behaves, how it functions within a particular boundary. That is the soil health. Or we can say capacity of a soil to function as a vital. It is just I was talking about why it is called a soil health. Basically, there are two terms. One is soil quality and another is soil health. So sometimes we say that they are synonyms, but they are not synonyms. So there is a difference because in the soil health we see that there are physical, chemical, and biological properties. But in soil quality, we can sometimes say it is only physical or chemical properties. So ecosystem and land is to sustain plant and animal productivity, maintain or enhance water and air quality, and promote plant and animal health. So all of this, providing the ecosystem services, providing the plant services. So this is the crux of what soil health is. So now, as we already know, before going to the detail, this is some of the soil components we have. You might be knowing that we have basically there are first two parts. One is soil mineral matter, then there is air, and then there is water. So in mineral matter, it can have organic matter. It can have mineral particles. So in mineral particles, basically that is what we are getting the nutrients. So the weathering process, we get the nutrients from this mineral matter. And organic matter, it can vary. Some soils we call it as organic soils, some of the mineral soils. So organic matter can be and to an increased level, higher level. Then there is another, that is air and water. So we have first three components: mineral matter, air and water. So air and water, it is supposed to be in the soil pores. You might be, just you recall your UG or PG, soil mineral particles, what they have, and there, between those particles there are some spaces. Like for example, if we take the coins, we place it in a coins we place it here. So we जो space this is an arbitrary. So this space is occupied either by air or either by water, depending upon the conditions. For example, if it is raining, so it will be occupied by what? Water. Most of the pores, macro and macro pores, they will be occupied by what? Water. So after the rainfall or after irrigation, any type of precipitation, these pores will get accommodated with what air. So this is the reason purposely we have shown that जैसे एक lecture में है it can go forward, it can go backward. So it can go to the air and it can go to the water depending upon the conditions of the soil, depending upon the environmental conditions, whether there is an irrigation or there is any precipitation. So soil health, we have already said that it depends upon the physical, chemical and biological attributes or biological properties. So soil health, we have just make it simplified, it's sustainable productivity which is due to soil health. The sustainable productivity due to the soil health, it depends upon the physical, chemical and biological properties. So all the properties are there which accommodate, which combine with each other to form the soil health. And due to the soil health, good soil health, we have the sustainable productivity, we have the sustainable agriculture. Can anyone tell me what is the sustainable agriculture? The sustainable means long lasting without any ill effect on the environment. That is the sustainable. So this is the sustainable. So now we have just seen that the physical, chemical and biological properties of the soil are there which form the soil. Now there are physical properties. What are those physical properties? Physical properties like what is the texture of the soil, what is the structure of the soil, what is this bulk density, particle density. So all these are the physical properties. Then there is the aggregate stability, then there is the pore space, how much of the pore space is there. For example, physical property, how it affects this soil health. For example, if there is a sandy soil, we see that there are more pores. So when we irrigate a field or when there is a natural precipitation, it has a less water holding capacity. Less water holding capacity, it is not only because of the pores, it is because of the two reasons. One is that sand particles, they have less liking for the water molecules, and then the pores are the number of pores are very large, and the water does not retain within the soil. That the water holding capacity of a sandy soil is very low. Now, if the water holding capacity is very low, then there will be the less availability of the nutrients in the solution. Do you agree? Yes. If there is no water in the soil, the availability of nutrients, although the nutrients will be available in the soil, but they cannot be taken up by the plant. So this is the reason you might have understood, you might have studied that this nutrient uptake, recall karo ujme by mass flow. Mass flow means through the flow of water, the roots absorb the water and take up those nutrients. So if there is not the water here in the plant, if the water chahiye to maintain the fertility, other properties, दूसरा जो chemical aspect है soil water, so the uptake will be less. So this is the case in case of the sandy soil. If it is a clay soil, we can have ample of water in it. We have more water holding capacity, and then this physical property, it affects also what the nutrient holding capacity. And you go deep in your studies, you see that these particles, clay particles, they have a negative charge. So because of this negative charge, the water holding and the nutrient holding capacity is low. Suppose if we are adding nitrogenous fertilizer in the two soils, again the sandy and the clay soil. So sandy soils have less negative charge, clay soils have more negative charge. So in sandy soils, the nutrient is absorbed more because nutrient nitrogen, it is in the form of ammonical form, NH4 plus. When we add nitrogen to the soil, that is in the ammonical form, it gets absorbed on the clay colloidal complex. Since clay is having more negative, the nutrient holding capacity of the clay soils is more as compared to that of what? Sandy soils which have less negative charge. Similar is the case with what water holding capacity. So when we add a nitrogenous fertilizer, we say that sometimes in some soils there is more leaching and in some soils there is less leaching. So leaching, you know, leaching means the downward movement of any nutrient. So that is called as the leaching loss. So leaching loss in case of sandy soils is more as compared to that of the clay soils. So this is how the physical properties are related with the chemical properties. Then there is the biological property which is also related to this physical property. So biological property, for example, if there is a force, less force, there will be less air, there will be less water. So for the flourishing of the microorganisms, there will be difficulty. So we have less number of microorganisms, we have less number of microflora, which is important aspect for the soil health. Because when we add any fertilizer, when we add additions of the organic matter, the decomposition process that occurs in the soil, that is done by these microorganisms. So if the microorganism population is less, there will be less decomposition of the organic matter. Okay? So this was something which is how this physical, chemical and biological property. Then there are chemical properties, large number of chemical properties are there. We have pH, we have CC, we have EC. So pH has a direct relationship with the nutrient availability. Some nutrients are more available in case of acidic soil. Some are more available in alkaline soils. For example, availability of iron is more in case of acidic soils. Availability of iron is more in case of acidic soils. So micronutrient cations, they are more dependent upon the soil reaction, that is the soil pH. So pH influences the availability of the nutrients. pH influences the population of the microorganisms. For example, if you take the example of fungi, we take the example of bacteria, we take the example of the actinomyces. So fungi, it heals best in case of acidic soil. अगर इनकी acidic condition में भी जाएंगे तो तब भी ये flourish करेंगे. But as compared, when we compare it with the bacteria, it is it flourishes well in case of neutral to alkaline soils. So this is how this again this chemical properties are related with what the soil biology of the soil. So now there are some of the issues which we have to address which are related to the soil. That is soil physical degradation, chemical degradation, reduction in soil organic matter, changes in soil reactions, modification of soil nutrient status, accumulation of toxic compounds, soil biological degradation, soil ecosystem services. So physical degradation, you might know there are some of the problems with the soil. Physical degradation, erosion आपका आता है, then there is we say that compaction is there, so these are some of the physically degraded soils. Then there is the chemical degradation. So chemical degradation में low nutrient status है, आपका pH acidic है. Then reduction in soil organic matter, if we don't add more and more organic matter to the soil, so there is a dearth of the organic matter in the soil. So organic matter, we have already discussed how it influences this. What is the importance of soil organic matter? Can anyone tell me? दूसरा microbes. कैसे?
सर अगर ऑर्गेनिक मैटर होगा तो जो माइक्रोब्स हैं वो ज़्यादा होंगे.
Exactly. Basically, this is called as the mutualism. So when there is the organic matter, we have enough energy for the flourishing of microorganisms. So if we don't add this organic matter to the soil, if we don't add any type of compost to the soil, so there will be less energy, there will be less food for the what, there will be less carbon, carbonaceous products, there will be less those inputs which are used up by these microorganisms, so there will be less flourishing of this microorganism. So in order to have a good soil health, we have to add the organic matter. Then there is the change in soil reactions. Sometimes there is more acidity, something. Although the soil is having a high buffering capacity, because of the buffering capacity, buffer change, reluctant soil, the reluctant change but age. So acidification हो सकती है, solidification हो सकती है. That is also the issue related with the soil health. Then there is a modification of soil nutrient status, that is mostly by the nutrient mining. The nutrient mining takes place by the uptake of the nutrients by the plants. Then there are leaching losses, then are volatilization losses. If we don't add sufficient amount of nutrients to the soil, we say that there is a decline of the nutrients. There is an example that once upon a time there were no deficiency of micronutrients, but from last 2 decades we are seeing that there is a deficiency of the micronutrients. That's evident from what we are using today. For example, we are using boron. But if we go back to our costs, we were not using boron, we were not using calcium, we were not using iron. But nowadays they are in the market. We have micronutrients also, we have micronutrient sprays also. So this is this nutrient modification in soil management. Then there is the accumulation of toxic compounds. Which toxic compounds, for example, due to the industrialization, we have accumulated large number of heavy metals in the soil. We have inorganic pollutants in the soil. That's what that is. Then these, how you can say that it's a toxic level? When it goes beyond a particular level, threshold level, it accumulates the toxic. For example, if we go to the soil, we can see there might be heavy metals, but when it attains a higher level, that it hinders the growth of a plant. That is called as it has attained the toxic. It has attained the toxic compound. So it depends upon compound to compound. For example, lead, it is at a lower level, it is more this toxic. Some are at higher level. Then soil biological degradation, that is due to the microorganisms. So soil physical degradation, we have discussed already. Erosion है, tillage intensity से हो जाता है. Inappropriate timing of tillage. Can anyone explain this? Soil physical degradation. कौन soil वाला? वो soil वाला. So what is this inappropriate timing of tillage? I am saying that if there is inappropriate, we have used the term inappropriate timing of tillage, how it can cause physical degradation. I am not saying that how it affects the plant growth. I am first saying that कैसे नहीं inappropriate timing मुझे क्या बोले सवेरे करनी है शाम को करनी है जून में करनी है जुलाई में करनी है exactly that's the timing. For example, if we go to the field, we have to go for the tillage practice. So if there is there's a higher moisture content due to the precipitation or due to the irrigation. So what goes? That is not the appropriate consistency. That is not the appropriate consistency of the soil to till the field. If we till the field at that moisture level, clods बन जाएंगे या अगर ज़्यादा moisture होगा, it can stick to what your this implements. So that is the types of the soil consistency. Soil physics किसने पढ़ा है? आपने नहीं पढ़ा है ना? Consistency पढ़ी है? पढ़ा है ना मैंने? So that was thing. ये जो this is the applied part of it. So time पे नहीं करेंगे. For example, we have here, we are trying for this rice wheat cropping pattern. So in Punjab there is rice wheat cropping pattern. So वहाँ पे क्या होता है? वहाँ पे थोड़ा टाइम मिलता है बीच में, है ना? वो देखते हैं, वो बीच में टाइम मिलता है. Again rice के बाद rice harvest करके जब tillage करनी है, we have to prepare the field for the next crop. So suppose the timing कम है, है ना, बीच में टाइमिंग कम है. For example, if we have late sowing of rice for any of the reason, farmer reason है या climatic reason है, तो वहाँ पे क्या होगा? Late harvest होगा, moisture कभी soil में होगा ज़्यादा, we cannot till the field, है ना? But what the farmer does, he tills the field, है ना? He prepares the field. वो सोचता है कि नहीं, जितना भी farmer को आएगा बीज से कम ही आए, but I will sow the crop. तो उससे क्या होता है? उससे physical degradation soil में होता है. So then chemical degradation, reduction in soil carbon, soil reaction, modification of soil mineral, ये तो हो गया है. Biological degradation, abnormality in microbial community, diversity indicated by viable count, adversely affected major soil processes, है ना? Soil respiration, different enzymatic activities, nutrient cycling. So this one, this जो second point है, this again depends upon the soil properties also, है ना? So soil respiration, then enzymatic activities, then nutrient cycling, degradation of organic compounds, symptoms of accumulation of toxic compounds. So this is what we have discussed earlier. So now there are how we can manage the soil health practices. So these are we have to reduce, again, sustainable productivity is our aim. We have chosen the sustainable productivity as our goal for the management of the soil health. The soil health again it depends upon the physical, chemical and biological properties of the soil. Then these are the management practices. How this topic was chosen, that novel agronomic practices. What are the different practices which have been chosen for this management of the soil health? That is reduce soil disturbance, crop rotation, cover cropping, diversity production, organic amendment, integrate livestock, diverse plant species, sustainable grazing, and patience. We will see these things. So, diversification of the nutrient sources. What does this mean? Basically, what we have to see, there are different sources. We have the diverse sources of the nutrients. There are organic and microbial organisms, जिनको हम normally बोलते हैं biofertilizers. So organic में आपको पता है, we have FOM, we have vermicompost, different types of composts are there. Then inorganic sources, वो तो पता ही है ना. These are the chemical fertilizers like urea, DAP, whatever. So monotonous use of any one source. What's the monotonous use? Monotonous use हो गया. For example, if we are using only inorganic fertilizers, what will happen? You can change the soil properties. Do you agree? If we add only organic matter, it is good for the physical soil health, it is good for the soil health. But will it make the availability of the nutrients? No. Sufficient availability of the nutrients will not be there if we add only water. So that's the reason sometimes I am against this organic farming. What do you think? So, new diversification is not happening. Diversification of nutrients. So then green manures addition. There is one term, brown manuring also. Crop residue and agro-industrial wastes. Crop residue को stubble mulch जिसको बोलते हैं. So we have in situ stubble this management. Then adaptation of modern tillage systems में आपका zero tillage आता है ना? Minimum tillage आता है. Stubble mulch tillage आता है. Then the soil health improvements achieved by following the conservation tillage system से क्या आता है ना? Modern जो tillage systems हैं हमारे zero tillage और क्या बोलते हैं minimum tillage. Reduction in the rate of soil erosion. Agreed? So zero tillage करेंगे, there will be reduction in the rate of the soil erosion. Then increase in soil organic carbon. Then enhance the microbial population and diversity. Improvement in major soil physical parameters. So then there is enhancing soil microbial diversity, addition of microbial culture. So